For 1,000 years, the galaxy rested under a blanket of peace. The Galactic Council ruled over hundreds of species, keeping order and balance. Trade routes were safe, wars were forbidden, and ancient grudges were forgotten, at least on the surface. Many believed this peace would last forever. But far away on the edge of the known galaxy, there was silence. A small planet, unmarked on any star map, drifted quietly. Its name was Earth. Long ago, humans were feared across the stars. They were not the strongest or the fastest, but they were the most dangerous. In the Great War, they used strategy, desperation, and raw will to survive against impossible odds. They created machines that could think, weapons that could bend space, and tactics no alien mind could predict. But when the war ended, humanity disappeared. Some believed they had destroyed themselves. Others thought they went into hiding. Over time, most species simply forgot them. Earth was dismissed as a dead world. But the humans had not died. They had gone underground, literally. Beneath the surface of Earth, cities had grown in silence. Technology evolved without outsiders knowing. Human scientists worked in secret, building machines not to conquer but to prepare. For 1,000 years they waited, watching, listening, and remembering. Meanwhile, the Zarkons, a young warrior race, had just been accepted into the Galactic Council. Their pride was greater than their wisdom. To prove themselves, they needed to fight. The Council forbade war, but training exercises were allowed, so they searched for an empty world, a place to test weapons and soldiers. Earth appeared perfect. A blue-green planet with no known species, no ships, no signals. Just trees, oceans, and ancient ruins. A dead world, they thought. They landed in groups. Zarkon soldiers marched across forests, destroying trees with energy, guns laughing as animals fled. They saw no resistance, no cities, just nature. They assumed it was a lifeless planet, perhaps once inhabited by a weak race now long gone. They made camp and began drills. A few days passed, then something strange happened. One squad vanished during a night patrol. No gunfire, no explosion, just silence. Another group went to investigate. They found only burn marks, twisted metal, and claw marks too large to belong to any known creature. Drones sent overhead were blinded by EMP blasts. Communication lines went dead one by one. Panic began to rise. Inside their main base, Commander Grath of the Zarkon forces tried to send a distress signal to their fleet, but the signal never left the atmosphere. Satellites they had brought from orbit were offline. Cameras caught only shadows moving fast between the trees. One soldier swore he saw a figure, tall, humanoid, armored in black, with eyes that glowed red in the dark. No one believed him, until more soldiers began to see the same thing. At night, they heard voices speaking in a strange, low language. Their lights flickered. Equipment failed. Traps were triggered where no one should have been. Slowly, fear replaced arrogance. And then came the first direct attack. An entire transport ship exploded without warning. Surveillance footage showed nothing until someone played it in reverse. In the final second before the blast, a figure stood on top of the ship and vanished. Commander Grath called an emergency meeting. "Something is hunting us," he admitted. "This planet is not empty." Still, they didn't know what they were facing. Then they found it, or rather, he found them. In the middle of the night, alarms screamed in the main base. Red lights flashed. Soldiers grabbed weapons. And then, silence. From the shadows walked a man, tall, armored, not fully human. His body looked enhanced, artificial. His voice was calm, cold, and clear. "You shouldn't have come here," he said. Before anyone could react, he moved. Faster than any creature they had seen. Guns melted in their hands. Explosions ripped through walls. The last thing many soldiers saw was his glowing red eyes. By morning, the Zarkon base was gone. Smoke rose into the sky. Their ship remained, but its systems were locked, hacked by someone with ancient human codes. The survivor, if he could still be called human, stood atop a broken tower scanning the horizon. His name was Commander Rylos. He had been waiting, for centuries, waiting for a reason, a signal, a threat. Now the galaxy had remembered Earth, and Earth would remind them what humans were capable of. The storm had begun. For many years, the galaxy believed humans were extinct. Their name had become a myth, something told to scare young alien children at night. But now, that myth had become real. The Zarkons had made a mistake. They had attacked Earth, and Earth had responded. News of the lost Zarkon soldiers spread quickly within their fleet. No one knew what had happened, only that contact was gone. Their commanders tried to hide the truth, calling it a training accident. But deep inside, they were afraid. Their strongest warriors were missing, their base destroyed, and the only clue was a strange signal left behind on their ship's systems. A single word. Phoenix. The Galactic Council received this signal too. It was ancient. A forgotten code from the last Great War, from the time when humans still walked among the stars. The code had not been used for 1,000 years. Many on the Council didn't even recognize it. But one old species did. The Varnak Elders. When they heard the signal, they grew silent. Their skin turned pale, and their eyes widened with fear. Activate Protocol Phoenix. That signal was once humanity's last warning. It meant war was coming. Total war. Not just ships and bombs, but clever traps, invisible strikes, and a kind of destruction that no other species could understand. Humanity had not just built weapons. They had built machines that thought like humans, fought like humans, and never slept. Far beneath Earth's surface, old systems came back online. Giant machines powered up in silence. Deep inside the planet's crust, AI cores awakened after centuries of sleep. One of them, known as Nyx, began to process data, enemy movements, old council codes, ship locations. It was one of the last war AIs created by human scientists during their final days. It had one purpose: survival at all costs. Commander Rylos, the enhanced human who had survived the Zarkon attack, stood inside an underground command center. Screens lit up around him. Data poured in. Surveillance from satellites hidden in Earth's orbit. Old communication lines still, connected to long-abandoned relay stations and drone footage from across the galaxy. Nyx spoke to him in a calm, mechanical voice. "Welcome back, Commander. Threat detected. Zarkon forces classified as hostile. Protocol Phoenix engaged." Rylos didn't speak for a moment. He stared at a glowing map of the stars. So much had changed in 1,000 years, and yet nothing had. The Council was still arrogant, still blind. They had forgotten the one species they should have feared the most. "Begin Phase 1, Rylos finally said. Across the solar system, hidden, human bases began to move. On the dark side of the moon, long dormant launch tubes opened. From under Mars, automated war factories began building ships, fast, sharp, deadly. They made no noise, no lights, no signals. They were ghosts. Meanwhile, the Zarkon High Command tried to cover their losses. They sent more ships toward Earth, this time with heavier weapons. But Earth was no longer the soft target they thought it was. Their ships disappeared before they even entered the atmosphere. Jammed signals, gravity, mines, hacked systems. One Zarkon captain saw something horrifying before her ship lost power. A large satellite turned toward them, not with weapons, but with eyes. Eyes that scanned, analyzed, and then sent a single pulse of light. Her ship's systems shut down instantly. The last thing she heard was a human voice over her radio. "You shouldn't have come back." The Council finally began to take notice. One by one, their communication posts across the sector started to go dark. Not destroyed, but erased. All data gone. No survivors. Just silence. As if someone was wiping them off the map. Then something even more alarming happened. A galactic data center on the planet Elros, thousands of light years from Earth, was hacked. Their defenses were untouched, their codes unbroken. Yet, the core files were missing, replaced by a simple message: "Humanity remembers. Do you?" Panic spread. The council called an emergency meeting. Old races spoke of the last war, of human tactics, of how they used to strike not with armies, but with silence. They never fought unless it mattered. But once they did, they never stopped. And now they were moving again. Back on Earth, Rylos looked at the stars. His armor hummed with energy. His mind was sharp, connected to Nyx, to Earth's old war systems, to the ghosts of 1,000 years. The galaxy had grown soft. Peace had made them forget. But humans had only been waiting. The storm wasn't coming. It had already begun. For the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy felt fear again. The Galactic Council sat in silence. The old members who had seen the last war were too afraid to speak. The younger ones laughed nervously, calling it a false alarm. Humans? They said. Extinct, gone, dead and buried. But they were wrong. On Earth, deep beneath the surface, the ancient AI known as Nyx was awake. It was no ordinary machine. Nyx had been built during humanity's darkest hour. It had watched as cities burned, friends died, and stars turned red from war. Nyx did not forget, and now it remembered everything. Under Protocol Phoenix, Nyx had only one job: protect humanity at any cost. It controlled secret factories hidden on moons, asteroids, and inside gas giants. These factories now moved like they were alive. Machines built other machines. Warships shaped like daggers came out of the dark. Drones with no heat, no light, and no name moved toward known alien positions. They did not speak. They only observed. Commander Rylos stood inside the Earth Core Command chamber watching the updates. The Zarkons were scared now. After losing 2 fleets, they had stopped sending ships, but that didn't mean the war was over. Not for humans. It was just the beginning. Rylos opened a secure link with Nyx. "Are the fleets ready?" Nyx replied, in a calm female voice. "Ghost Fleet 1 is operational, cloaked, awaiting launch. Drone swarms online. Strategic positions confirmed." "Good," Rylos said. He wasn't smiling. "Now let's send a message." At the edge of Council space, a small outpost floated near a dead moon. It was a quiet place, used for deep space communication. On that day, something strange happened. A human ship appeared, not from hyperspace, but from inside the moon. It had been hiding there for decades. The outpost scanners tried to read the ship. Nothing. No ID. No signal. The station's crew panicked. They sent a warning to the council. Before they could finish the message, the station's power died. Inside the control room, the crew saw the ship slowly rotate. A single light blinked on its side. It projected a symbol into space. A burning phoenix. And then, nothing. The ship vanished, not destroyed, just gone. But the message had been sent, and the council had received it. Back in the council hall, the leaders looked at the image of the phoenix. A few recognized it. Most didn't. "What does it mean?" one of them asked. The Varnak elder leaned forward. His voice was weak, but his words were strong. "It means they're back, and they are watching." Another member spoke. "Why now? Why come back after all this time?" "Because someone woke them up," the elder said. "The Zarkons poked a sleeping god." The council grew divided. Some wanted peace talks. Others wanted to destroy Earth quickly. But there was a problem. No one could find Earth anymore. Satellite maps showed only stars and space where Earth should be. Some believed the humans had moved the planet or cloaked it completely. Either way, Earth had vanished. The council was blind. Meanwhile, on a frozen moon near the edge of Zarkon territory, another ghost ship arrived. It landed silently. No crew, no weapons fired. Inside, the Zarkon guards found only one thing: a screen playing an old video. It showed human cities during the last war. Children hiding in bunkers, soldiers fighting hand-to-hand in the ruins. And finally, a message. "We offered peace. You chose to forget. Now we remember." Then the ship self-destructed, erasing all evidence. Back on Earth, Rylos watched from his command chair. He didn't want revenge. This wasn't about hate. It was about respect, about teaching the galaxy, a lesson it had forgotten. Nick spoke again. Council systems show confusion. No response plan in place. Chaos increasing. Perfect, Rylos said. Time for Phase 2. Across space, small human fleets began to appear. Not to attack, but to observe. They entered Council territory, watched key planets and left. Their ships could not be tracked. Every time the Council tried to catch them, they were already gone. On one planet, a Council officer tried to stop a drone. He reached out and touched it. The drone scanned his eyes, then flew away. Later that day, his ship exploded without warning. Fear was now spreading like fire. The humans weren't fighting a war. They were preparing a message, one that said, "We are still here, we are stronger, and we are watching you." By the end of the week, 25 Council outposts had gone dark. No bombs, no invasions, just silence. And in the silence, the galaxy began to understand the truth. Humanity had not died. It had evolved. The galaxy was no longer at peace. Whispers of fear traveled from one star system to the next. Trade routes were quiet. Patrol ships doubled in every sector. But it didn't matter. The threat was already inside. Every species in the Galactic Council had heard the same stories. A symbol in the sky, stations losing power, ships disappearing without a sound. The humans had returned, not as soldiers, but as ghosts. And ghosts were harder to fight. Zarkon Prime, the homeworld of the proud warrior race, was in panic. Their leaders had never faced an enemy they couldn't see. Their best soldiers were missing. Their best ships never came back. The public demanded answers. The generals promised victory. But deep inside their bunkers, the truth was clear. They had awakened something they didn't understand. Zarkon scientists began working day and night. They studied human symbols, old war records, and recovered drone fragments. One thing became clear. Humans didn't attack blindly. Every move was planned. Every strike had a reason. And every warning had a meaning. Back on Earth, Commander Rylos stood on a platform, watching as human warships lifted from hidden launch bays under the sea. The ocean boiled around them as giant engines roared. These were not old ships. They were new, shaped like shadows, powered by AI and nearly invisible to scanners. They were ready. Beside Rylos, the AI Nick spoke again. Phase 2 is complete. Council communications disrupted. Zarkon systems exposed. Satellite control acquired. Rylos gave a short nod. Begin Phase 3. Far across space, in a peaceful system known as Varela, a major Council communication hub blinked out. No alarms, no weapons fired, just silence. When ships arrived to investigate, they found empty halls, lights still on, computers working, but no people. Over 4,000 crew members had vanished. That same night, a message appeared on every Council leader's private screen. Peace is earned, not given. You failed the test. Panic spread. The Council ordered emergency meetings. Many wanted to attack Earth directly, if they could find it. Others demanded negotiations, but none of them knew who to talk to. No human ambassadors. No channels, just silence and fear. On a distant jungle moon, a secret Zarkon lab was testing a human drone they had recovered. One scientist managed to hack a tiny part of its system. The room cheered, until the lights flickered. A voice came from the drone speaker. Calm, cold, familiar. Thank you for opening the door. The base exploded 10 seconds later. Back on Earth, Rylos walked through a room filled with young soldiers. Humans trained in silence, discipline, and patience. These were not ordinary soldiers. They had never known war, but they had trained for it their whole lives. Earth had been preparing in the shadows for 1,000 years. Rylos spoke to them. We don't fight for revenge. We don't fight for power. We fight to survive. And when the galaxy forgets who we are, we remind them. The soldiers stood at attention, silent and still. Their eyes burned with purpose. Elsewhere, Nix connected with old satellite networks buried inside Council planets. Networks the humans had left behind long ago. Quietly, she took control of them all. Not to destroy, but to watch. On the Council capital planet, one senator returned home to find a message carved into his wall. No one had entered. No one had left a trace. The message read, "You were warned." He resigned the next morning. Zarkon leaders finally made a desperate choice. They launched a full fleet toward Earth's last known location. Over 100 warships, loaded with weapons, scouts, and special forces. But when they reached the coordinates, there was nothing. Just stars. They sent probes, drones, and long-range scanners. Still nothing. They had wasted time, fuel, and lives chasing a ghost. As the fleet turned back, every ship's screen blinked once. Then a video played. It showed Zarkon soldiers landing on Earth, killing without mercy, burning trees, laughing as they fired on animals and homes. Footage from their own cameras, but edited, cleaned, sharpened. And at the end, a close-up of Commander Rylos. "This is what you started," he said. "Now feel what it means to be hunted." Every Zarkon soldier watched in silence. Not one of them spoke. Back in Council chambers, fear had become chaos. Members blamed each other. Old enemies pointed fingers. Allies became suspicious, and still, no one knew what humans truly wanted. Then finally another message came. Not from Nix. Not from a hacked system, but from Earth itself. A live signal. It was Rylos. He stood alone, calm. Behind him the old Earth flag, blue and white, with a glowing phoenix in the center. "I am Commander Rylos of Earth. We waited. We watched. You came and tried to break us. Now the galaxy must understand. Peace is not a right. It is a responsibility. We will not attack, but we will not hide again." The signal ended. Nothing else followed. No demands, no threats, just silence, and that silence was the scariest part of all. After Commander Rylos's message, the galaxy was stunned. No one knew what to say. The council chambers were filled with angry voices and worried faces. Some wanted to strike Earth immediately. Others wanted to wait and listen. But no one dared to ignore the warning. The truth was simple. Humanity had changed. They were no longer weak or forgotten. They were patient, powerful, and ready. The quiet before the storm had ended. Now the storm was here. Meanwhile on Earth, Rylos prepared his people for what was coming next. He knew the council would try to find them again with more ships, more weapons. The humans had survived for 1,000 years by hiding. But soon, they would have to fight openly. That time was near. Rylos walked through the underground halls of Earth's hidden base. Around him, soldiers trained silently. They moved like shadows, fast and precise. Their weapons were new, made to be strong but quiet. Their minds were sharper than any aliens. They were ready. Nix, the ancient AI, monitored every movement in the galaxy. It sent drones to gather information on council ships, on Zarkon fleets, on every possible enemy. Nothing was hidden. Nothing was safe. One night, a message came from deep space. It was from a small planet near the council's edge, a peaceful world called Lyrian. The message was simple but urgent. Council fleet approaching Earth. Estimated arrival in 72 hours. Rylos stood still. His face was hard, but calm. "They've come," he said quietly. On the other side of the galaxy, the council prepared their fleet. More than 200 ships loaded with weapons, shields, and soldiers. Their goal was clear: destroy Earth before humanity could grow stronger. But the council had made a mistake. They thought Earth was weak. They thought humans would hide again. They were wrong. As the fleet moved closer, strange things began to happen. Ships lost power. Weapons malfunctioned. Communication lines scrambled. It was as if the fleet was walking into a trap. On Earth, Rylos watched through a giant screen. The drones sent by Nix fed him real-time images. He smiled slightly. It's time. At the edge of the solar system, Earth's hidden defenses activated. Massive energy fields rose from the planet's surface, invisible but strong. Satellite weapons powered up. Swarms of drones flew into space, fast and silent. When the Council fleet entered the system, they were caught. Ships stopped moving. Engines died. Weapons went cold. Panic spread. The fleet's commanders tried to send orders, but their systems were taken over. One by one, ships powered down, drifting like dead stars. On Earth, Rilo stood on the command platform. His voice was calm but firm. This is your warning. Turn back. Leave our world alone, or face the consequences. The Council leaders were shocked. They had never seen such power from humanity. They sent a message back, begging for peace, promising talks. But Rylos was ready. Peace is earned, he said, not begged for. Over the next days, the Council watched as Earth's forces repaired their systems and prepared for any attack. The humans had not just defended their planet, they had shown the galaxy that they were no longer a forgotten species. In hidden places across the galaxy, other species began to ask questions. If humans could do this, what else were they capable of? What secrets had been buried for 1,000 years? And deep inside the shadows, Rylos and Nyx knew the answer. This was only the beginning. The real battle had not yet begun, but when it came, the galaxy would remember why humanity was once called the most dangerous species. Because humans never forgot, and they never gave up. The galaxy was watching. News of Earth's defense spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of the Council's territories. Some species were afraid, others curious. The humans had shown they were not extinct. They were stronger than anyone expected. Commander Rylos knew the peace would not last long. The Council was angry and embarrassed. They wanted to prove they were still in control. So they planned their next move carefully. Deep in a secret council chamber, the leaders met in silence. Some argued for full war. Others wanted to send diplomats. But the strongest voices wanted a new kind of attack. A secret strike. A shadow war. They decided to send their best spies and assassins to Earth. Their goal was simple: find the weaknesses, destroy key leaders, and stop humanity before it could rise fully. Meanwhile, on Earth, Rylos prepared his people for what was coming. The next war, he told his soldiers, will not just be fought with ships and weapons. It will be fought in shadows, in secrets. We must be ready. Nyx worked non-stop. She scanned every message, every transmission, looking for signs of enemy spies. Earth's security was tight, but the Council was clever. They sent invisible agents disguised as traitors, diplomats, even refugees. One night, a small ship landed quietly near an Earth colony on Mars. The crew claimed they were refugees, fleeing a distant war, but Nyx detected a hidden signal inside their ship. It was a trap. Rylos ordered the colony to prepare defenses. The ship was surrounded. The crew was captured. Their real mission was revealed. They were Council spies, sent to gather information on Earth's defenses. Rylos looked at the captured spies and said, "You thought we were weak. You thought we were gone. You were wrong." Across Earth's colonies, preparations for the coming Shadow War began. Soldiers trained in new skills: hacking, disguise, silent movement. Earth's scientists worked on new technologies: cloaking, devices, advanced sensors, and cyber defense systems. In the Council chambers, frustration grew. Their spies were failing, their fleets were weakened, and Earth was growing stronger every day. A bold plan was made. They would attack Earth's hidden supply routes, the secret tunnels and stations that kept their war machines alive. Without supplies, Earth's defenses would fall. But Nyx was ready. She had mapped every secret route. She had placed hidden traps and defenses. The Council fleets moved in, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they found empty tunnels, silent bases, and dead ends. Some ships never returned from patrol. Others were destroyed by unseen weapons. Rylos smiled. The shadows belong to us now. The galaxy was changing. The old peace was gone. The silent war between humans and the Council was only just beginning, and in the darkness the question remained, who would win when the shadows became the battlefield? The battle for the shadows had begun, but no one could see the full war yet. In the quiet corners of space, spies moved like ghosts. Some wore human faces, others hid as council officers. Everyone waited for the next strike. Commander Rylos sat in his war room deep inside Earth's core. His eyes were sharp, his mind was sharper. He studied reports from the front lines, secret fights, hidden attacks, and silent victories. But the war was not just outside Earth. It was also inside. Not all humans agreed with Rylos's plan. Some wanted peace, others wanted revenge. The people of Earth were divided. Some whispered that the Council might offer a better future. Others feared any deal with the galaxy was a trap. Rylos knew the biggest battle would be for the hearts and minds of his own people. One night, a secret meeting was held in an underground bunker. Leaders of Earth's resistance groups met to talk. They argued about what to do next. A young woman named Mira stood up. She was calm but fierce. "We can't wait," she said. "If we hide, we die. If we fight, we live. But we must fight smart." Her words changed the room. The resistance groups agreed to work together, sharing information, resources, and plans. They became a stronger force than before. Meanwhile, the Council grew desperate. Their leaders argued over who was to blame for their failures. Some wanted to attack Earth's colonies directly. Others wanted to send assassins to kill Rylos and Nyx. A small team of elite assassins was chosen. They were the best the Council had. Silent, deadly, and without fear. Their mission: find Rylos, end the war quickly. The assassins traveled in secret, using cloaked ships and false identities. They reached Earth's orbit and began their search. But Earth was ready. Nyx had predicted their arrival. Hidden defenses surrounded Rylos's location. When the assassins tried to land, traps caught them. One by one, they fell into the shadows, never to rise again. Rylos watched the reports calmly. "They thought they could kill us in the dark," he said, "but the shadows belong to us now." As the Council's plans failed again and again, a new question grew louder in the galaxy. How long could the Council keep fighting a war they could not win? And what price would the galaxy pay before peace could return? The war had entered a new phase. One fought in silence in the dark corners of space and in the minds of the people. Earth's defenses grew stronger every day. Commander Rylos and Nyx worked side by side, planning their next moves like master chess players. But the Council was not defeated yet. They knew they could not win with brute force. They needed something else, a weapon no one saw coming. Deep inside Council space, scientists worked on a secret project. They called it the Shadow Virus. It was a tiny machine, a virus designed to attack Earth's machines, networks, and even the human mind. It could make soldiers see ghosts, ships lose control, and computers betray their owners. The Council planned to release the virus quietly, using infected drones hidden among supply ships. Once the virus spread, Earth would fall from the inside. Nyx's sensors caught the first signs of the virus. It was subtle at first, a few small glitches in Earth systems. But Nyx knew it was only the beginning. Rylos gathered his leaders. "This virus is different," he said. "It attacks more than machines. It attacks trust. It attacks hope. We must fight it with everything we have." Earth's scientists raced against time. They worked day and night, building firewalls, backups, and special programs to fight the virus. But the virus was smart. It changed shape, hiding inside systems no one expected. Meanwhile, on the front lines, soldiers began to feel strange. Some saw shadows moving where there was nothing. Others heard voices whispering lies. The virus was breaking their minds, turning friends against each other. Rylos knew the war was no longer just about ships and weapons. It was about survival, survival of the mind and spirit. He sent a message to all human forces. Stay strong, trust each other. This is a new battle, the hardest one. In the shadows, the Council celebrated. They thought victory was near. But They didn't count on one thing: human willpower. Earth's people came together like never before. Soldiers, scientists, and citizens shared their strength. They fought the virus not just with technology, but with stories, music, and memories. Things no machine could destroy. Nyx found a way to fight back. Using the old human code, she created a digital shield, a firewall made of memories and hope. It slowed the virus, stopped it from spreading. The Council's scientists were shocked. Their perfect weapon was failing. Rylos looked out from Earth's command center and said quietly, "We are more than machines. We are more than data. We are human, and that is our greatest strength." The war was far from over, but Earth had won a battle few thought possible. The galaxy watched again, this time with respect, because when humans fought for their minds and hearts, they fought to win. The failure of the shadow virus was a big blow to the Council. They had hoped to destroy Earth without a fight, but instead, they had awakened something stronger: human spirit and unity. The galaxy began to change, and the Council's control started to weaken. Commander Rylos knew that time was running out. The Council would not stop. They would try anything to take Earth down. But Rylos also knew that humans were ready. They had survived worse, and now they were stronger than ever. Nyx worked day and night, using every piece of data to predict the Council's next move. The AI's cold logic and human bravery formed a powerful team. Together, they prepared for what no one expected: a final desperate attack. The Council gathered their forces for one last strike. Thousands of warships, new weapons, and special soldiers trained to fight humans on their own planet. They called it Operation Endgame. The fleet moved fast, hiding behind asteroid fields and using secret routes. Earth's scouts spotted them too late. The Council was closer than ever. Rylos stood on the command bridge. His eyes were calm but sharp. "This is it. We fight not just for Earth, but for every species who wants peace." The battle began in the cold void of space. Explosions lit the darkness. Ships clashed with powerful beams and missiles. Earth's fleet was smaller but smarter. They used traps, quick strikes, and the element of surprise. On the ground, Earth's soldiers prepared for the Council's special forces. The invaders tried to sneak in, but humans fought with fierce determination. Every street, every tunnel became a battleground. Rylos led his people with courage. He knew some would fall, but the fight was bigger than any one person. It was for the future. In the middle of the chaos, Nyx found a hidden Council command ship. It held the leaders of the fleet. Nyx helped Rylos plan a daring strike. A small team would board the ship and end the war by capturing the leaders. The mission was dangerous. The ship was heavily guarded, but the team was ready. As they moved inside the ship's corridors, alarms blared. Soldiers fought in tight spaces. The team moved quickly, silent and deadly. At the heart of the ship, Rylos faced the Council's commander. The man was proud, but tired. "You don't understand," he said. "This war was meant to protect us all." Rylos shook his head. "You forgot one thing. Peace is not about power, it's about respect. And respect is earned." The final fight was quick but fierce. In the end, Rylos's team captured the Council leaders and took control of the ship. Back on Earth, the battle slowly ended. The Council fleet surrendered. The war was over. But the galaxy knew this was only the start of a new story, one where humans would have a place, not as forgotten ghosts, but as strong, respected beings. Rylos looked up at the stars and whispered, "We came back, and now we stay." The war was over. The silence that followed was heavy but filled with hope. Commander Rylos stood on Earth's highest tower, looking at the stars. The galaxy had changed forever. For 1,000 years, humans had been forgotten, stories told only in old legends. Now they were remembered, not as extinct or weak, but as survivors and fighters. The Council was broken but still standing. Its leaders faced a new reality. They could no longer ignore Earth. They would have to accept humanity as equals or risk another war. Rylos spoke at the Galactic Council's first meeting after the war. His voice was calm, but firm. We did not come back to conquer. We came back to protect our home and to build a future with all species. Peace is not given, it is earned, every day, by respect and courage. The council members listened. Some nodded slowly, others looked away. But all knew things had changed. On Earth, people celebrated quietly. They remembered those lost, but they also dreamed of what was to come. Cities grew, technology advanced, and the hidden bases became open centers of learning and cooperation. Nyx, the ancient AI, continued to watch and protect. It helped humans and other species learn from each other, sharing knowledge and wisdom. Rilo stood beside Nyx, feeling the weight of the past and the promise of the future. "The galaxy is big," he said softly. "But now, we have a place in it, and we will never be silent again." Far beyond Earth, the stars shone brighter. A new chapter had begun, one of hope, unity, and strength. The peace that had lasted 1,000 years was tested, but humanity had proven one thing: they were never gone. They were here. They were ready, and this time, peace would last.